The storm had already passed when my phone rang. Midnight. Unknown number. A voice I recognized but hadn't heard in years. My sister's. Only it wasn't her words, it was her sobs. And in the background, wind, rain, branches cracking. "Where are you?" I asked. A pause, then a whisper that felt like glass pressed to my ear. "Under the tree." He said I didn't deserve a roof tonight. Pregnant, soaked, left outside like an animal. The line went dead. I sat there in the dark, phone in my hand, pulse steady but rising, the taste of iron in my mouth. By dawn, she was in the lobby of a five-star hotel, wrapped in a robe, shivering, yet safer than she had been in years. She clutched my hand like a lifeline. But I wasn't thinking about her comfort. I was already calculating, already sharpening. Because men like him don't stop. They only escalate until someone makes them choke on their own cruelty. The next morning I walked into his firm. It was supposed to be ordinary. Men in pressed suits, screens glowing, voices droning numbers. But I saw it. The nervous glance between two associates. The sudden silence when my name was announced. His boss had called an emergency meeting. No explanation given. No agenda set. They knew. Maybe not the details, but enough to sense a firestorm was about to roll through their polished glass walls. He was already pale when I entered. My brother-in-law, self-styled provider, respectable family man. The same man who had made my pregnant sister sleep under a tree during a storm. I didn't shout. I didn't rage. I just walked across the room, took his collar in my fist, and held him still. No violence. Just the quiet reminder that control is often mistaken for strength until it's taken away. The room froze, every eye on me, every breath waiting. Inside, I wasn't shaking. I was dissecting him, layer by layer, like a surgeon who already knew the tumor was malignant. I let him go without a word. That was enough. Fear is most effective when it's incomplete. Later, while he thought the storm had passed, I was gathering. Phone records, messages, bank statements. Every lie leaves a trail, and he had been careless. Late-night transfers to accounts my sister never knew existed. A second phone hidden beneath a false name. And, worse, texts. Explicit, cruel, mocking. To another woman. It wasn't just infidelity. It was contempt. A double life. My sister had been starving herself to save money for their child while he was buying jewelry for someone else. I said nothing to her. Not yet. My silence wasn't mercy. It was precision. Suspicion burns hotter when it has no air. I wanted him to suffocate in it. The file was delivered to my desk 3 days later. I read it slowly. Each page another nail hammered into the coffin of his reputation. I didn't feel shock, only confirmation. When I finally handed it to him, slid the envelope across a polished boardroom table, he laughed. At first, then his face cracked. His hands shook. His lips tried to form explanations that even he didn't believe. "Who gave you this?" he whispered. I just leaned back, silent. That's when the panic set in. The realization that every excuse was already dead on arrival. His colleagues were watching, his boss was watching, and I was watching. Not with anger, with the calm of someone who has already buried the body in his mind. The real punishment wasn't in the evidence. It was in my restraint. I didn't shout. I didn't strike. I didn't humiliate him with theatrics. I simply placed the documents in front of his boss and said, "Decide if this is the man you trust with your clients." Nothing more. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. The look in his eyes, the flicker from arrogance to desperation, was the only revenge I needed. He knew his empire was collapsing from the inside out, and I hadn't lifted more than a finger to begin the fall. That night, I sat in the hotel lounge with my sister. She was warm, safe, sipping tea like a fragile survivor of a storm she never deserved. She asked me what I'd done. I looked at her, calm, detached, and said only, "Enough." No details, no promises, just the finality of truth. I don't feel pity for him. Pity is wasted on men who mistake cruelty for power. What I feel is clarity, a quiet certainty that his ruin has only begun, and I'll never need to lift a hand again, because sometimes the most devastating revenge is silence.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.